Have you ever dropped thousands of dollars on ads with little to no results? Or been promised first page ranking if you just invest one arm and a leg? I've fallen into these traps, and so has attorney turned CEO of LawLytics, Dan Jaffe. After getting burned by a marketing company, Dan decided to do the marketing for his firm himself and create a dream marketing system that he wished had been available when he started off as an attorney years before. Hi, I'm Emily LaRouche. Are you ready to make the journey from lawyer to entrepreneur? Every week I'm sitting down with people who have mastered the art of running a business and want to share with you the lessons they've learned along the way. Join me as we experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between as we learn, share, and grow together. Welcome to Share the Love. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Emily. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you. So take me back to being a young lawyer. When you went to law school, did you have entrepreneurial dreams?
I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do when I was in law school. I just knew I was open to the possibilities, and ended up during my third year of law school stumbling upon Jay Foonberg's book, How to Start and Grow a Law Practice, in conjunction with doing an externship at the prosecutor's office, and got this crazy idea in my head that I could start a law practice right out of law school. And so that's what I ended up doing.
That's pretty ballsy. Right out of school, you said, that's it, I'm going on my own, hanging up my shingle.
I did, yeah. Yeah, so started in Seattle. I graduated in 1998, passed the bar, and then opened my practice in 1999. And didn't look back from there. Started slow, doing contract work for other attorneys. And it was right as the internet was starting to come up in Seattle, was a hot spot for it. And, figured that I could use it to start attracting clients. And so, kind of chipped away at that a little bit at a time and ended up building something.
So did you try working with other marketing companies at first?
So I did. I made several mistakes and got burned several times, but it was the last time I got burned. I realized that if I really wanted to get control of my law practice, it meant that not only did I need to understand my marketing, but I needed to have a way of exerting influence over it. And so I looked around, and there weren't any really good tools on the market that existed at that time. And so I spent some time teaching myself how internet marketing works, figured it out through trial and error, and then after a while I had something there. And then once I understood how it worked, it was really easy to see through the sales pitches and other things that I would typically fall for before, and that I saw a lot of my colleagues falling for as well.
So it's one thing to be great at marketing for your business. I mean, that's fantastic. Every attorney, ideally, that would be great if every attorney could be great at it. But what point did you say, there's a business here?
It was a while. It was 10 years into my practice. So I grew a practice in Seattle, and then ended up moving to Phoenix and starting a practice there as well. Used the same techniques. Phoenix was a little bit behind Seattle as far as tech adoption of using the internet to find attorneys. Back then, it was kind of a new frontier, and so I was able to kind of come in, and it was a greenfield situation in Phoenix, where I was able to build something pretty significant pretty quickly. And then it was about 10 years into my practice, and I was a criminal defense lawyer, so that meant that by days I was running around from court to court, defending my clients, doing trials and hearings and so forth. And by night I was working on my business, and the biggest problem that I had was marketing, but I figured out the keys to it. I just kind of was an early adopter and figured out how that stuff worked. And so my colleagues would ask me what I was doing to be so successful. And along the way, one of my friends who was trying to get his practice going in a non-competing jurisdiction asked me for help. And so I got this idea that I could start this online legal directory and have attorneys in various areas that weren't competing with each other kind of share a collective platform. And so built that, and just while I was practicing law, and it ended up taking off so quickly that I had to make the decision: do I do that full time, or do I practice law full time? Because there weren't enough hours in the day to do both well. And so that's when I really knew I had something there that was bigger than just my practice. And so that was my first tech business. That ended up getting acquired by a large company after about a couple years. And that gave me the working capital and the freedom to be able to go and create Lawlytics, which is just really a curation of all of the things and systems that I used in my own marketing that I wish was available under one easy to use hood.
So, what was the hardest thing for you shifting from being a lawyer to doing a professional services providing company?
It was really the mindset of not thinking of myself as a lawyer on an everyday basis. I think it's in my DNA. I practiced for so long that I still identify with it. I enjoy hearing other lawyers'
Are you
war
still
stories.
active in the state bar?
I am still a member of the State Bar of Washington and Arizona. In good standing. I keep my license on inactive status
Just
though,
in case?
so I don't have to do the CLEs.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What was tough for you as far as transitioning?
Oh, it was just thinking of the business as a series of systems and relationships. Whereas when I was in practice, I was for the most part a solo practitioner. I had partners here and there, and I had associates here and there. But I was used to being the bottom line, and I was used to the revenue that I produced in my practice being directly tied to the time that I would put into working on my clients' cases. And so there's only so far that you can take a business, whether it's a legal technology business or a law firm, without putting systems in place and empowering people around you to do things. And so it was a bit of a learning curve. So I was kind of a lone wolf there for a while as I was transitioning into tech. And I wish I had that CEO mindset when I was practicing law, but it's taken me a while to grow into that role.
Was it hard to go from, okay, I do everything in this business, I'm the lawyer, I meet with everyone, I do everything, to I really need to let go and let other people if I want to grow Lawlytics?
Sure, it was difficult, and it's I think that the most difficult part of it is realizing when I'm doing that. So it's really easy for me because I enjoy a lot of the aspects of it. To fall back into the mindset of trying to take over and do things, myself. And I'm much better at that now. But that's why you put systems in place and why you hire great people. And I think every CEO who's founded a company and who's envisioned what it's going to be like, and then has kind of watched it grow, is tempted to still jump in when things happen. But fortunately, I've got a great staff surrounding me. They're all working as a team, and everybody is doing their part, which really gives me the freedom to say, okay, they've got this. I can really focus on the things that I need to focus on, like strategy.
That's really hard to let go, and I've struggled with that. I still struggle with that. If I see my team of virtual receptionists have calls holding, I still will jump in there, and I'm like, you have a show to produce tomorrow. You cannot be taking calls. Stop doing it. I have a team to do that kind of stuff, but it is really hard to let go.
Yeah, it's really it's one of the great things that I have to keep reminding myself of, and I've asked my team to remind me when I do that, because it's really easy to do it and not realize I'm doing it, and then go home that night and oh, I did that again.
Yeah, so I've been telling them, don't involve me in things unless you want me jumping all in. Don't tell me about it. I don't need to know everything that's happening anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And probably the coolest thing is we've had some clients that at one point I knew every single one of them. I had talked to them at some point. I knew their names. And so it's kind of cool to see new ones pop up that you've never even talked to. And you're like, wow, I might have a machine running here. It might be working.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So one thing that I loved about your story and your company is every business would love to have a raving fan. We all want to have great customer service, but I can't think of a bigger compliment than a customer saying, you are so good that I want to actually invest in your company. Your marketing system is so awesome. Can I be a part of this group? And could you share a little bit about the story of Richard Lawson and what you did for him that brought him to that point?
Sure. So Richard and I have actually never met in person, although he's been a very involved, substantial investor in the company for several years. He was a client of my first business, which was the DUI directory, DUIattorney.com. And so I got to know him a little bit over the phone while I was working with him there. And when it was acquired, we ended on really good terms. And then when I had the prototype for LawLytics ready to start beta testing, I went to Richard and I asked him if he'd beta test. And he was really skeptical that it could work because he had tried doing it himself before using systems like WordPress and was really never able to get traction doing it. And so he because of our previous relationship, became a beta tester as a favor to me. Got in there and really realized, hey, because of LawLytics, I can do this myself. I can focus on what matters, which is writing great content, answering my potential clients' questions. And within a couple months, he had built up his website and the content on there so that it was attracting more traffic than a bunch of other websites that he had with another higher priced vendor combined.
Wow.
And he realized there was something there. And so he along with one other early adopter, approached me and asked me to invest. And we ended up accepting investments from them because they were very much aligned with what we were trying to do, and they really got it.
That's cool. They saw a diamond.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful because the support of people that take those kind of early chances, and it's worked out really well for both of us because he's been able to use it to add revenue to his practice that he didn't have before in a sustainable and cost-effective way.
That's awesome. I saw a lot of your blog topics and things on your website were really contrary to what I'm used to. When I talk to SEO people, I almost always leave the meetings feeling like I didn't understand a word they said, that like they spun me around 30 times and were like, now can I have your check? That it's confusing. They're talking about link building and funnels, and none of it makes sense. None of it's simple. And you guys say over and over on your website, it is simple and you can do it yourself. And I think you have a good balance of you let your clients do some of it themselves. They can have you guys do a lot of it, but you're saying, hey guys, you can do it yourselves. Did you design it that way intentionally?
Yes. Is it okay to swear on this podcast?
Go for it.
Okay. So what most SEO companies are peddling is just frankly bullshit. And I got burned by it, and I saw way too many attorneys get burned by it. And it's unacceptable to me that in this day and age, after years of selling the same old stuff that doesn't work, paying for links, SEO magic dust, all these different things that attorneys just get confused by that add absolutely no value, that there are companies that are still in business and thriving, taking attorneys' money by selling such services. And it's my personal belief that it not only hurts the individual attorneys' businesses, but it hurts the overall quality of the bar by driving the cost to acquire customer or clients up, by driving attorneys to have to charge less to be able to compete for customers, and as a consequence, having to take more clients than they really should, which makes it so that the representation that they can give each individual client is substandard compared to what it would be if they weren't wasting all this money on these marketing companies. And what attorneys oftentimes don't get, because they don't take the time to really invest in understanding how this stuff works, is that it's just as important to know what to avoid as it is to know what to do. And so what we do is we provide them with a system that makes it very easy for them to do the things that they need to do. And we provide them guidance and training around doing those things, while we hopefully provide them with enough of a proof of concept that they don't then end up falling for the same old tired SEO sales pitches. And so it's something that we feel very passionate about. And it's really rewarding to see attorneys who have gone from having a lot of problems going from with one vendor, paying them to build links and do off-page SEO and all these tweaks, and it doesn't work. And then they go to another vendor who's saying the same things, selling the same things, and they think that it's going to be different because maybe the old vendor just wasn't doing it hard enough or fast enough or enough of it. And so it's a paradigm shift. It's almost like these attorneys suffer from the Stockholm syndrome with some of these marketers because they continue to believe this persistent lie. And so it's great when attorneys get on, they follow our recipe, and they do enough of it to understand what really drives things. And then we see them getting cost-effective revenue, and then they never look back. But it takes some deprogramming, if you will, to get them to that point.
I get that. I believe when it comes to investing, I always have said, I don't invest in things I don't understand. I don't get the stock market, but I get real estate. But I didn't follow that same advice when it came to SEO, is don't invest in things you don't understand. And when they talked about off-site link building and things, I was like, well, no, what can I see on my site that you're doing? I'm paying you all this money. What can I see? I couldn't see anything. And I didn't see anything. I got no results from it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make a podcast. I'm going to produce content. I'm going to put things out that I think would be valuable and entertaining, hopefully. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm not paying any more money for your link building because I can't see it. So is that good advice then, to invest in a strategy that you can see, you can understand, it makes sense?
Absolutely. By doing the podcast, you're investing in thought leadership. You're giving people information that's valuable that they can use. You're creating a following. It's absolutely valuable, and they might not need your services at the time that they're listening, but they may eventually. And when they do, they're going to think about you.
Absolutely. And SEO, I've talked to people who say, oh, I don't take clients on who are under $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Your LawLytics program is so affordable when you look at the people who are spending a fortune on SEO.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is so one of our core values is we don't sell things that aren't useful. And there's this disconnect where attorneys think that they need to spend X number of dollars or thousands of dollars a month to do something worthwhile in terms of the search engines. And oftentimes it's just the opposite. So they could be paying somebody $2,000 a month to build links for them, and those links could be actually what's preventing them from succeeding the way that Google runs their algorithms these days.
So, and it seems simplistic, but so correct me if I'm missing something, but you guys build beautifully, nicely designed websites, and you create content, and there's content on them that is speaking to the audience that the attorneys want. And that is what brings people in. I mean, it seems so simple.
Yeah, so we designed a software system. So our service is software in the cloud at its core. And our software basically does everything that an attorney needs to do other than create the content. And it makes it easy for them to create the content. So when somebody comes on with us, we call our customers members. So when they join LawLytics as a member, we build a website for them. Design is not the main thing that drives business for attorneys, but we have a proven formula for making designs effective for converting visitors into leads and then into clients. And then we teach them how to actually go and create the content. And for those that don't want to or don't have the time to create the content, we also have a service that professionally creates the content for them, and it's staffed with attorneys and paralegals that do that on that side. But we really like it, even though we make less money from it, when our members come in and write their own content, because then they get it, they see the highest return on investment, and we're investing in a long-term relationship with them. And so the idea is when you're on LawLytics, using our system, you never have to worry about any of the technical or design aspects.
Okay. So as far as content goes, I keep hearing video is the new blog and swipe files are the new white paper. When it comes to content creation, is there any one method that's better than the other?
Well, all methods are good. However, if your primary objective is to drive business through the search engines, and namely the free search engines, it's imperative to start with a good base of written content. And so the way that I like to describe it to our customers is think about sitting across your desk or your conference table from a client or potential client. What questions are they asking you? What language are they using to describe their problems? Not only the legal aspects of it, but the ancillary concerns as well. So if you have a criminal defense client that's sitting across the desk from you, they may need to know what the penalty structure is, what the procedure is, what's going to happen at different hearings, but they also want to know what it's going to do to their reputation. Are they going to lose their job? Is it going to affect certain rights? Can they wear a hat to court? Is there a vending machine in the lobby of the court because they're diabetic and they might need to get, all of these things. Where do they park? And so we recommend taking a holistic approach to that kind of content. And it really has multiple benefit streams for the law firm. So when they create the content, the first benefit is good written content will attract searches that are very targeted through the search engines. And so that's better than paying for the traffic because it's more targeted and it's answering somebody's question directly rather than throwing an ad in their face. And then when they become a client, it takes care of a lot of the expectation management of dealing with that client, because instead of answering those questions over the phone, can I wear a hat to court? Is there a vending machine? Where do I park? What's this hearing about? The website can answer those questions. And if you're bringing people in that are engaged with that content to start out with, they're already trained before they come into your office to look at your website as a resource. And so once you have that base of good written content for the search engines, then we recommend going back and looking at other ways that people might consume it. So you've got a 2,000-word article on procedure. Well, great. Then you can record a video based on the information on that page and put the video on that page. Then there's two ways to consume it. You could create an infographic that shows the chart of the procedure and what's going to happen there. Put that on the page too. And all of this kind of adds to the cumulative effect of, once you get people there, giving them information the way that they relate to it. So you give them choices ultimately.
Awesome.
You don't start with the written content. It's never going to work with the search engines.
So start with written. A mixed bag of different content methods are great. And it sounds like, you could have your receptionist take notes for an entire week of all the questions being asked, and there you go. Your content strategy's done. Just answer the questions.
Absolutely. And there's all kinds of layers of nuance. So, for example, let's say you're a criminal defense lawyer and you're in a jurisdiction where there's 40 different courts, roughly, like Phoenix. When I was practicing there, I was constantly driving around to all the different justice courts and municipal courts and superior court locations and so forth. Well, different courts have different sets of responsibilities and procedures and all that. And so there's different things to say about each court. And more than that, your potential clients are looking at their citation or their summons, and they're saying, okay, this is in Mesa Municipal Court, or this is in Maricopa County Superior Court. And their searches that they put into the search engine, usually Google, are going to reflect that. And so you can create individual pages. Or if you're a personal injury lawyer, you can drill down to street names and intersections as far as usual suspects for where business happens, so to speak. And so, most attorneys aren't thinking anything more than Phoenix personal injury lawyer type searches. And so they're competing with the masses, and everybody's paying for those same type of searches, whether they're buying ads or whether they're paying an agency to try to get those organic. But if you really think about more details about what people are searching for, there's really an infinite amount of content that most attorneys can create off the top of their head once they understand the process.
That is fabulous. I love that. Things I wouldn't even thought of before. So I'm going to wrap it up with a few rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. If you had to choose a brand new career, what would it be?
Oh, if I was, am I young or am I still?
You can be young and strappy.
I love what I'm doing now. I know that's kind of the canned answer. I think I would have gone into it maybe a little bit sooner. And if it was a whole nother career, maybe I'd go into medicine. something completely different. But I really wouldn't change what I'm doing for the world.
Just would have done it earlier. That's great. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Best thing that's happened this year?
My team has come together in such a cohesive way. I love watching how this business that we've built and all the people that are a part of it have come together to really care about the business, care about our customers, really think about ways that we can help both things become better and better.
That's wonderful. What is one thing you would want our viewers to take away from this show today?
Think for yourself. In marketing, there's a lot of brainwashing going on. The second you stop being brainwashed is if you're having struggles with your marketing, that's when you can start succeeding. Okay,
perfect. And how can our guest find you?
Easiest way to find us is the website, www.LawLytics.com. And they can always call, and if they want to talk with me personally, ask to speak with me. The number's on the website, but the main office number is 800-713-0161.
Or click the links down below.
Yeah, and we offer a free evaluation and kind of assessment of where you're at, would LawLytics work in your situation? Because it's not for everybody. You have to have the right mindset. And so we've created a link for the listeners of your podcast, and it's learn.lawlytics.com/Betty's. If you go there, fill out the form, you'll get immediate access to our schedule, and you can book that call right online.
Fantastic. And that link is posted below. So click on it. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're spending thousands on SEO and it's not getting you anywhere, you've got to talk to Dan's team at LawLytics. Thank you so much for being here today, Dan.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Share the Love. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play to get the latest content.